I'm sure many of you who follow television shows and conversations about television shows for the last few months have heard of The Pitt, a new series that has been streaming on Max. The season finale just aired earlier tonight. And this is covering a 15-hour shift that's taking place at the Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Center as a group of doctors from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. are dealing with patients who are coming in with all kinds of conditions and injuries and critical illnesses, anything that could potentially kill people, and these are piling up as the day is going on and the cases are becoming more and more serious, and it's all being done in a very real-time like way, as every episode is about an hour, give or take a few minutes long, and each hour of the shift is covered in each episode. I got into it a few episodes in. It was about 4 or 5 episodes in, and I binged those first few because I started watching episode 1 and then I was so curious about how the next hour was going to go. And then from that point on until now, over the last 10 weeks, I have watched all of them as they've been dropping. And it has been a really great experience tuning in every Thursday night at 9 p.m. to see a new episode and to see what these doctors are up to. Yeah, I have to say it's also pretty commendable because procedural TV for a long time, I kind of got done with it. I have seen a lot of procedural TV over the years, and when it comes to medical procedural dramas especially, there's so many that have happened. And I'm sure when you think of a new procedural medical drama heading over to, on TV, you're thinking to yourself, why would I... And when you think of a new procedural TV series that someone is recommending, you might think to yourself, why would I want to tune into a new one? I mean, I've had my fair share over the years. But this isn't like the other procedural medical dramas. This is doing things very, very differently and in a way that was incredibly realistic. And I think right now is a really good time to also do this because when it comes to the healthcare system and when it comes to the medical emergencies that humanity has had to deal with in the last about 5 years or so, to have a drama essentially chronicling a lot of that, but also the aftermath of events that they've had to deal with, such as the COVID pandemic. It's intense to watch as certain things are happening, and you can't help but look at a lot of the procedures taking place and thinking to yourself, this is something that I have stories about as well. When it comes to people who we've lost, when it comes to the pandemic, when it comes to all of the different medical conditions that are being dealt with in the show, medical emergencies that are being handled, whether it comes to, simple things as an injury here and there, or an accident that's taken place, or when it comes to someone who has, ingested something that could potentially kill them. It's all in here and it's all executed very, very well. And this is all supported by a myriad of phenomenal performances led by an Emmy-worthy Noah Wiley over here, who plays Dr. Michael Rabinovich, or Dr. Robbie, as you know him for most of the season. He is incredible in this. And as someone who has been through quite a lot over the years as the practicing doctor that he is, and having been through the pandemic and even gone through some loss when it comes to losing his mentor, having him come into this shift at first is questioned by a lot of people because they're sort of wondering, why would you come in today? Today is a day of remembrance for you because it's the anniversary of the passing of your mentor and something that really scarred you, and how are you going to do this? And that's something that applies to every other doctor there because they're all going through something too. And as the cases are coming in, the tension and the pressure is piling up. It also means that there are some cases where they may not be able to get the desired result, in that case meaning the patient might die. And that is the unfortunate truth about the medical landscape when it comes to helping people as much as you can. Unfortunately, you can't save everybody, and as the day is progressing, those losses that you take, you're thinking, well, I have to stop working, or what am I going to do? How am I supposed to keep going? And because you're in a hospital where hundreds of people are coming in pretty much every minute, you're thinking to yourself, well, I have to somehow keep going. And the show keeps pushing these doctors to the brink, to see how far they can make it before they have a complete meltdown. And they come spectacularly close, some of them. And some of the supporting performances over there from actors like Patrick Ball, Issa Briones, Taylor Dearden, Catherine Lanasa, all of them are phenomenal as well. And all of them also, deserve award consideration. They're very, very good over here. And all of it is very well scripted and directed. It is a very emotionally gut-punching show, as you would expect, but it also has moments where it's funny. It also has moments where it's incredibly touching when it comes to characters like Dr. King, played by Dearden, who's phenomenal in this. And there's also moments where it's incredibly intense, where it's like, all right, something horrible just happened, but now we gotta get to this other person. We have to save one life over here. And just keeping you in that zone, it just makes you appreciate more and more what doctors do on every single day. And just this amount of respect that you have for every medical professional out there right now. Because fuck, man, they must be seeing some shit every single day. And how they're able to deal with so many things and save so many lives, it is commendable. So my hat's off with this video that I'm doing to the real heroes and just the work that they're able to do. Such an ode to the bravery and to the skill that these doctors bring to everything. And this is all before you even get to the later part of the season where they have to deal with a mass shooting that's taken place at a music festival. And in this case, they have to deal with a lot of patients coming in with gunshot wounds. And it shows you just how awful a situation like this can be and what all the doctors and patients are seeing at that point of time and the resulting trauma and shock that will come from things like this. Especially when it comes to trying to save some patients, and some of them can be saved, some of them can't. And the pressure of that, already coupled with the pressure of the entire day where they're having to deal with situations that, are make it or break it for people, is incredibly tough to watch. And it is unflinching in that approach this entire season. And that's also something that I really admire about it. It doesn't hide behind anything when it comes to just showcasing the trials and tribulations. And that applies to the healthcare system as well, and the things that the doctors have in supply, which is quite limited because they're working as sort of, the first responders when it comes to any patients who are coming in. They're having to deal with everything where they don't have enough equipment sometimes, or they don't have enough supply of things. And so they're sort of, living on this idea that we have to make do with what we have. And that's something that is causing even more pressure. They don't have enough beds available or rooms available or enough nurses on staff, perhaps. It's all, again, building up the pressure. Again, very well executed stuff. It often doesn't even feel like performances. It feels like you're seeing real doctors working through real moments of crisis and seeing them get through these things. In fact, there are several moments in here where occasionally it'll go into a scripted, character arc, and you'll have moments where they're interacting with one another, telling a complete, story over these 15 episodes. And you might think to yourself, okay, now I know it's a TV show. But then when you're in the moment, when you're there with them in the emergency rooms, it's like, no, this doesn't feel like it's a performance. That feels like an actual operation going on. And if anything goes wrong over here, that patient is going to be in an extremely critical condition. I'm so glad a season 2 is coming. It's going to come next year. In fact, they've already said it takes place during the 4th of July weekend. That's going to be crazy to watch. But I think what they've done with the Pitt is nothing short of sublime. This is incredible television. I was so invested in everything that was happening, so emotionally invested, and just waiting every single week for a new episode to see what would happen with these doctors and dealing with the situations that they are personally and on a more professional and a public level, and just having to get through it. Again, as I already said early on in the video, my hats off to everyone who is working as a doctor right now, who is doing everything that they can. I mean, it really isn't said enough, but these guys are extraordinary. And despite the fact that they have to witness things that are nightmarish for something that might be for the rest of their lives, still coming in for every shift to make sure that more people get the chance to keep living. And that is something that is, it just speaks to the greatness that can exist within humanity. And I'm going to give the Pitt season 1 an extremely well-deserved A+. This has raised the standard for me when it comes to what procedural television can accomplish. I can't wait to see what season 2 is going to be like, and I am so excited to see how they're going to take the story arcs over here. Many of them, there's still going to be stuff that continues, I feel, in some way, and see how it builds upon that. I'm so excited for that, and I'm so glad this show exists. And I hope that if you haven't seen it yet, like I said, I'm very excited for you guys to see it. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more videos very, very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, guys. And I hope you guys enjoy the show.